Hello, Jerry Beal here, and this particular audio will give you a really good idea of what this website is about and why it's so important. Many years ago, when my children were much younger and on a hot summer day, two of my kids got accidentally sprayed in the face from a nozzle on the water hose that their 3-year-old brother was playing with. One of the kids was my daughter, who was around 6 or 7 years old, and the other one was of my children who got sprayed in the face at the same time was my 5-year-old boy. After they caught their breath, my daughter started crying as she ran into the house to report her victim's story to her mom this way. Tyler sprayed, when her mom asked her why she was crying, she said, "Tyler sprayed me in the face and made me cry." But my 5-year-old boy, right after he caught his breath, he started laughing and jumping up and down. So when I went over to my boy and asked him why he was laughing when his sister was crying, he answered, "Tyler sprayed me in the face and made me laugh." Are you getting that? One said, reported, "Tyler sprayed me in the face and made me cry." The other one reported, "Tyler sprayed me in the face and made me laugh." Okay, here's the situation. Neither of those two statements are the least bit factual or truthful. And I feel like, spending like 5 minutes while you think about that. Neither of those two statements are the least bit factual or truthful. And hardly a goddamned person on earth is the least bit aware of this gigantic mind mistake going on unnoticed and thus unaccounted for, and traditional clinical psychology is directly responsible for this horrible, horrible ignorance that's going on planet Earth in 3 dimensions. I choose to be rather pissed about it because I have over 230 times I've tried for some kind of back and forth with traditional psychology or legal people or politicians, and not a damn one of them will give me any kind of back and forth with the material that you'll read on this website or you can study on this website. I'm telling you this fact right here and now. A material happening cannot cause a mental experience, nor a mental feeling, nor mental feeling experiences. But a mental cause, it's called our own defining mind context, a mental cause always causes mental feelings and mental experiences. And that mental cause, like I said, is your own defining mind context about the material happenings. We're ignoring that level shift in perception at the terrible cost of all problems we ever seem to have when the care and keeping of bodies is not the issue. So, my daughter, in order for her to report her victim's story while being honest and responsible, should have said, "Tyler sprayed me in the face, and the problematic way I'm thinking about it is making me cry." In other words, something happened, and the problematic way I'm thinking about what happened made me cry. In turn, then, and in lining up cause and effect where they really go, my 5-year-old boy should have told me, "Tyler sprayed me in the face, and the happy way I was thinking about it made me laugh." I can't say much about them making the mistake because their mom and I are the ones that programmed them into the mistake, just like your parents programmed you into the same mind mistake. In other words, and in both of their cases, the same exact event happened, and the problematic way one of them thought about what happened caused her to cry, and the non-problematic or happy way the other one thought about the very same event and at the same time made him laugh. It was their two completely different defining mind contexts about what happened that caused their two completely different feeling experiences. And yet they both thought what happened caused them to experience their feelings as they did. I'm almost sure that you, the listener here, now you realize that their own ways of interpreting getting sprayed in the face with a water hose was the actual cause of how they experienced their feelings around what happened. And what happened was the subject or the symbol. See, it wasn't the cause, but it was the subject or what was being talked about, the subject or the symbol. But they just took for granted that what happened caused their two completely different feeling experiences. And so does nearly everyone in the entire world think that same dishonest and irresponsible way. Now here's the thing. I want you to be damned honest with yourself right here. I want you to realize that if I hadn't have told you the actual cause-effect relationship there, you wouldn't have known it. And now that you do know it, what are you going to do about it? What do you do from here? It's a damn good question, isn't it? Because I'm almost certain that nobody else has pointed it out to you. So think of the multi-millions of times you've been involved in those lies. This makes me happy and that makes me upset. So many times you've lied about your own feelings and your own experiences of life, and no one has been around to help you correct your mind until now. And as I would say to my own siblings, you know, the Mormon prophet doesn't know these things. He does not know these things, and he gets his revelations from God, apparently, and yet he doesn't even know the cause and effects of human feelings and human experiences. I'm not trying to run him down. He's no different than any other human being. You know, he's doing the best he can, job he's doing and everything, but he still doesn't know the most important thing he needs to know on planet Earth. Now consider these other very common lies. Number one, sometimes President Obama really makes me upset. Number two, homosexual relationships really make me sick. Or they make me this way or that way or whatever, you know. Number three, what he did last night made me so mad that I wanted to bust him in the nose. All of them lies, where no one is taking honest responsibility for their own feelings and experiences, and where it's not even taught in school. And when 7 billion people, the number of people that make up the world's population, a few strictly raised Buddhists and some serious students of A Course in Miracles and a very few others know this, but hardly anybody has the passion I have with it. And consider this lie, maybe above nearly every lie like this. Better conditions, I'm telling you this lie right now. Better conditions cause better feelings, better experiences, and thus better lives. And worse conditions cause worse feelings, worse experiences, and thus worse lives. You can't get a lie any bigger than that. You just can't. You see, we humans, both individually and collectively, have built up our worlds and put our life goings on together in our mind with the idea that there really are better conditions and worse conditions when the care and keeping of bodies is not the issue. You see, the statement would be there's no such thing as better or worse conditions when the care and keeping of bodies is not the issue. In other words, better conditions and worse conditions that have to do with our mental situations, because it's all a matter of interpretation. Better conditions and worse conditions are strictly matters of interpretation and certainly not matters of fact or truth. And what that mind mistake does, more seriously than anything else, is disempower ourselves. It robs, those kinds of lies rob us of our own personal truth that brings up our own personal power to experience anything that comes along in our lives any way we choose to interpret, and thus experience anything that comes along in our lives, which makes human truth the following. Only human interpretations are able to cause human feelings and human experiences. That is human truth, and it's, by the way, It's the only truth I'm aware of that is directly associated with us. It's the only truth I know of that's directly associated with us. And it's the truth then that Jesus was talking about when he said, "You will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Lastly, and to put the final nail in our victim story's coffin, I said lastly, and to put the final nail in our victim story's coffin, let's use this example. Let's say a 12-year-old girl has been sexual with a 40-year-old man. It got found out, and the girl is on the witness stand in court about to answer the questions of the prosecution in this child sexual molestation case. And I happen to be the defense counsel, or at least an advisor for the defense counsel. Okay? That's a courtroom situation where the prosecutor then asks the 12-year-old girl the following main question. It's the main question. How were you affected by what happened sexually between you and Mr. So-and-so? And at that point, I stand up and declare, "Objection, Your Honor." The judge says, "Go ahead and state your objection." So I say, "In a court of law where to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth." Did you get that? To tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. There's not a damn bit of truth being presented in that court case. But I wouldn't say it that way. I mean, let me say it the way I've got it written down here. So I say, in a court of law where to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, the question that was just asked is not only misleading, the question is entirely false and without fact or truth. The judge asks me, "How so?" How is the question without fact or truth? And I answer, no one ever relates to what happened. No one ever relates to what happened. We simply can't relate to what happened. But we can and always are relating to what happens means for us. We're relating to our own definitions and meanings while we believe we're relating to the things themselves. But the definitions and meanings about things when we think we're relating to the things themselves. But we think, as I said, we think we're relating to what happens. And so while the young lady can only relate to what happened meant or means for her now, nearly everyone, including her, believes she's relating directly to what happened sexually. And in this case, I call for a mistrial here. The prosecution better the hell get the cause and effects of human feelings and human experiences lined up where they really go before the prosecution comes to court with a case like this. For I can prove what Epictetus, clear back in 101 AD, said when he said, people's minds, now listen to this, people's minds are not disturbed by events. I'm pausing here. People's minds are not disturbed by events, but by their own problematic judgments on events. Actually, his statement was, people's minds are not disturbed by events, by their own judgments on, but by their judgments on events. I've added own problematic judgments on events. This 12-year-old girl's mind wasn't affected by the sexual event, but her mind was and is affected by her own problematic interpretations she applies to the sexual event, where most of those interpretations are so highly problematic that a lot of people wonder how the child can ever recover from being so profoundly violated, and it's all bullshit. It's all a bullshit game of pretenses that's going on. And here the prosecution is, set to present a case of how the child has been profoundly violated and terribly abused by what happened sexually, when her mind is not disturbed by what happened sexually, but by all the bullshit that these people are piling on her, by the highly problematic judgments that you people here in the courtroom are all but shoving down her throat. You know, what I'm telling her is just forget it. Say it doesn't matter because it can't matter. And that's the therapy going into therapy that traditional clinical psychology doesn't even know about. Therefore, Judge, I'm talking to the judge here, therefore, Judge, either use facts and truth to refute what you just heard from me, or do what you should do, and that's to declare a mistrial on all these kinds of sexual cases. Any nonviolent, non-forcing human sexual activity is any nonviolent, non-forcing sexual activity. That's what it is. And it's not something else, like wrong, bad, or evil or anything. So just put cause where cause goes and effect where effect goes. So just think about how sure you are right now. Now I'm talking to you instead of the judge, that my children were correct when they said I got sprayed in the face with a water hose, and that made one of us cry, and the other. I got sprayed in the face with a water hose, and that made one of us cry and the other one laugh. You know, you would go along with that, is what I'm saying. Everybody would go along with that. Yeah, it makes so much sense. You get sprayed in the face and you have a reaction. But the reaction doesn't come from what happened. It comes from what happened means for you. And in this case, it shows that they both got totally different experiences from the same cause. But it isn't the same cause, you see. Before being informed of this, you know and I know you would have gone along with that, just as you go along with the false and very intruding idea children being sexual with adults causes them to have various degrees of mental and emotional anguish and agony. And it's a damned lie. Only I want to swear even more than that, because it's such a horrific lie. But almost no one recognizes it as the lie it really is. I'm sure that people who intrude that way with children sexually aren't very proud of what they did. But for Christ's sakes, stop lying when it comes to the child and helping the child to recover from something that's not a problem. Here's what A Course in Miracles says about our clinical psychologists. The separated ones have invented many cures for what they believe to be the ills of the world. But the one thing they do not do is to question the reality of a problem. Yet its effects cannot be cured because the problem is not real. We cannot have real problems on planet Earth in 3 dimensions. Our body can. That's for sure. Our body can have many problems, but we are not our body. We're the one using the body. We're the perceiver. We're the one who experiences. We're the one who reasons. And a brain doesn't reason. Bodies don't reason, but we do. And again, the quote, that the separated ones, the traditional clinical psychologists, have invented many cures for what they believe to be the ills of the world. See, we don't have any ills of the world when the care and keeping of bodies is not the issue. And look how fast that takes care of things. Look how fast that can cause peace on earth, if people would just be honest and responsible that way. Therefore, both I've got just one thing. Therefore, both supposed victim and supposed perpetrator, this is in the case of these child sexual molestation cases. Therefore, both supposed victim and supposed perpetrator go clear through their lives and never overcome the hard feelings they thought they got from what happened sexually, when all they have to do, like the 12-year-old girl, just think about your mom and how much your mom loves your dad to put his hands all over her body, in her sexual parts and everywhere, and she just delights in it. So think about it that way. The only difference there is interpretation. And that interpretation is supposed to be that if you're under the age of 18, oh my God, the world's come to an end. But if you're over the age of 18 and you're state authorized, with marriage state authorized, then you get to put a wonderful defining mind context to it. This is wonderful and nurturing. But if you're under the age of 12, oh my God, or under the age of 18, oh, this is just a terrible situation that'll just take years of therapy to overcome. And it does, because of that. Anyway, thanks for listening to this audio, and I hope you explore the rest of the website as you're going along here.